What's up, guys? Welcome to Third Floor Music Tour. My name's Chris.
What's up, guys? I'm Diego.
And I'm Steven.
All right, so today we got another album. We're going over Knower. That's the artist. Excuse me.
Life.
Yeah,
The
Life.
album is
We
Life,
do this
yeah.
every time. We're like, what's the? It's Knower. The album is Knower,
Life.
and then
The band is Knower, the album is Knower,
Band
and,
is Knower.
the songs
quickly
are all
get corrected
Knower.
by Steven. Life is the name of the album.
Okay, we're doing albums here, so we need to remember that we're doing
I'm
albums.
just like all about the
albums.
artist.
We're not doing artists. Okay, cool.
So anyway, I brought this one in. I am a pretty big fan of Knower. I've discovered them probably about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Have you heard their other albums?
I haven't ever gone through the
Like an
whole
entirety.
Yeah,
just
not like I did this one.
But you've
with
heard
Life.
more songs. By
Yes,
Yeah, like
yeah.
popular
I've
songs.
listened to them for a while now, and then but it's real crazy because I found them on Facebook probably around the time this album came out. And
2016.
Right, yeah. So that was about I guess that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah.
So maybe it was like within that time, 16, 17. But I saw a video of them. They have this awesome video. It was on Facebook, and they were playing the song. What was it called? Time Traveler. And it's just them recording a live jam of them playing the song in a.
How are they playing it? Like, are they using? I guess one of them plays bass guitar. Sounds like.
Okay, so the two people in Knower are the singer. The girl, right, and sorry, I don't want to mispronounce her last name because I was like, it's Genevieve Artadi, Artadi. I'm not sure how to say it.
Artadi. What is it?
Artadi. Artadi.
Artadi?
Artadi. Yeah. Yeah.
That can't be real.
Well, no.
What do you mean that can't be real? Your last name is Ice.
Hey, that's true.
Right? My last name is White. We have like super basic one-syllable words
funny.
for names.
Duty.
Yeah.
No one knows.
That
Dude,
can't
we
be
have
real.
we have a hodgepodge of strange last names here.
I think they're like super
last
normal
name is-
last names.
They aren't. They're normal
They're not
words.
like Smith. Yeah, they're normal words, but they're not like.
Normal words outside
Words.
of
They're just words.
outside of
Yeah,
roll
they're just
call.
words.
You'd be
Right,
fine.
That's
yeah.
weird. We have word last names. Other people have like
Right.
Names.
Johnson.
Well, yeah,
Johnston.
the other guy in the band, Lewis Cole. That's a pretty last name. Cole.
Cole. K or
No, C.
Cole.
Yeah, Cole. Lewis Cole. So anyway, yeah, those are the two people in the band, but they've actually had like somewhere around 20 other members of the band Knower. That's like they are Knower, and then they have other people coming
Like
out.
People like cycle through.
No, like
musicians,
mostly musicians,
studio musicians,
right?
more likely, huh?
Yeah, and probably
They just they're almost like project coordinators in a way,
and
huh?
writers, I guess.
And writers, yeah,
Right,
they
yeah.
write it and then have somebody else.
And then
in
they
there.
just bring in people.
That's
And
cool.
Yeah. I think this band is really awesome to me, and I've really enjoyed researching them even more, just because I think they are like the example of what artists today do to like move like art forward.
It's
And
a modern. It's a
they're
perfect example of a modern.
because not only
collaborative.
like modern band, like okay, so they've got 4 albums and 4 singles out, right?
Yeah.
And they've got over like I don't know, somewhere between like just 30 Knower videos on YouTube. You know, most of the things they put up is just like their.
Do they do like Knower videos where it's them doing like silly stuff, or is it like also?
Well, their videos are super silly. First,
Is
of
it
all.
like
But
an
it's them
NPR Tiny
performing.
Desk or something?
No. It's them. It's produced. They do like some pretty crazy videos. Well, no, like that. Like I was talking about. If you want to watch, I'll link in the description the Facebook video that I first saw them in. And like I said, it's them recording a live take of this song.
Yeah.
And it's just them in an apartment complex, smaller than this. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
And I mean, a complex, excuse me, just an apartment. And it's just mic'd up and recorded professionally. And just, I think they got a 5-piece band in that particular jam.
What's that band that does the, Wolfpack?
Wolfpack, yeah.
They do those cool videos where it's like in an apartment and they're like ISO booths, but it's not ISO booths.
Right,
It's like a balcony and then like a bedroom and then like a hallway.
Are you familiar with
like
them?
I've
Wolfpack.
not heard of them.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, it's with a V.
Wolfpack?
I'm
Yeah,
surprised you're not familiar with them, Steven, given your German heritage.
I am
Straight up
slightly
German.
German.
They're not German
Look
at
at this
all.
man.
They
I'm not-
okay, Steven is, but they
Don't-
are.
I'm shocked
Don't start pulling the Nazi card on me again, okay? I don't appreciate
I
that one.
didn't say that. You said that. You said that.
You didn't say that right now, but you've said that before.
No, I didn't. What are you talking
I'm just letting everybody know what you've said to me. Okay, putting this on the record here.
So, Steven, what do you think of the album, Life?
This album,
Yeah.
I was not a huge fan of this.
Okay.
He's not a huge fan.
No, that's cool.
Overall, what's the factor?
Hmm?
What made you not a huge fan about it?
Oh, man, it's difficult to say. It's weird to me. It seemed like 2 albums in one, which was
Really?
yeah, because you have
Interesting.
like this very like almost techno, like drum and bass side to everything,
D&B.
and then you have the almost completely vocal side of things,
Yeah.
where it's just her Genevieve singing almost like lullaby kind of songs, where they're very very smooth and melodic, and then it goes immediately into another song that's just hardcore beats and
Beats D&B to almost fully reliant on the vocal melodies as the
Yeah.
instruments in themselves.
And given the way that it's ordered, it's like vocals, drum and bass, vocals, drum and bass, and it's
Yeah.
it's
They
almost
have like a real,
It's a
like, let's say
wave, man.
formula.
it almost gives you like whiplash listening to this.
It does,
What do you
yeah.
think, Diego? That's pretty interesting.
So the
Whiplash.
the first time I listened to it, I was like, no, I can't. This is too much. But I think it's just I wasn't in the mood at the time because it was so much at the. You know what I mean? It was so fast and just like so much, just like hitting you in the face. The second time, first time I listened to it, I got 15 minutes in, and then I just was like, I can't do this right now. And then I had to come back to it. But then I came back to it even this morning, and then I was like, okay, this is just a jam. It's fun, it's silly, and I think that they kind of went at it from a fun and silly perspective, like, hey, we're gonna produce some music, let's just make this shit happen. And then they just like hit it hard and like do whatever they want. Didn't worry too much about like balance in a way. Like a lot of the instruments are always playing at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was great. I like it. It was really fast, and D&B mixed with vocals, melodies, and stuff. It was cool. I like it overall, but I have a bunch of notes.
So it's pretty interesting because both of them, Genevieve and Lewis, are from L.A., right, from California. And they actually both have jazz degrees. I think Lewis has an undergrad degree, and then Genevieve has a master's in jazz vocals. So they're like incredible musicians.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Like they just because like Lewis does a lot of the playing. He's the drummer. And to be able to play that kind of music, like straight up just on a drum set, you know. But then also he does all the arranging, and he writes the majority of it, and she writes also. And one of the things that really made me fall in love with the group is her voice. I think she's just such a powerful singer. And I think that is really exemplified in a couple of the songs where they're obviously just layering her voice, and
Which
she's doing
songs do you
harmonies
think
with.
were the most like singing oriented?
Well, see, but I think all of them opposed to like The Government Knows.
That one's silly. I think this album's kind of sarcastic. I think it's sarcastic.
100% sarcastic.
Yeah,
because-
which is good.
They're not
nothing
putting on
negative
their
on
tinfoil hat and being like, "Hey, everybody,
No,
it's time to wake up,
it's-
sheeple."
sheeple. Man. Wake the fuck
But
up.
they're also like they reference Snowden and stuff, and so like I think it's like a super real concept. I think every
sounds-
single one of these concepts is stuff they think about and are serious concepts in every one of the songs.
They don't take it too seriously, though.
No, I mean I think they do take it seriously, but they're just presenting it in the in just like such a
Whimsical.
whimsical, off the cuff kind of way. You know what I mean?
it
Because
is,
like
yeah.
even like the pizza song, you know what I mean? When they're just like they do it for the pizza, not for the money, you know?
It's ironic.
And like butts and tits and money, you know what I mean? Because like them being like jazz artists and stuff, they understand that like Nicki Minaj is selling millions of albums. And you ever listen to one of her songs? It's like I'm not hating on any Nicki Minaj fans.
I
or
think
anything.
that's exactly what you're doing, but that's okay.
Well, it's okay, but I'm
Continue.
just saying. Like, well, I just saw a clip of her recently on Instagram, and it's just like her just saying the weirdest stuff about literally.
This is almost satire.
They're just. It's
It
like
seems
a
like satire
satirical
because
album.
I felt like
of the greater world around us. You know,
Yeah, exactly. On top of the satire of the album, I think that it was almost an experiment. Like Pizza, for instance, is an experiment in like modular synthesis. It sounded like.
Right, exactly. They really are like, and I
sounded
like
like
a lot of
it's
their
like super experimental music.
right, and
which is
right,
cool.
and I think it really is interesting. And they did a lot of basic stuff, like he'll be snapping. It just sounds like he has a condenser microphone in a room, and he's just snapping
Yeah.
into it, and he uses that sample.
There's a
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
interesting sounds on this.
Yeah, a lot of interesting sounds. So anyway, those are just a couple things. But yes, they are both like jazz musicians, right? I don't even know if they like that handle. You know what I mean? But it is just a couple
You could
things.
tell, like it was almost
Right.
jazz to the point of irony, in the sense that it sounded like Wii Sports at a lot of moments to me.
Wii Sports.
It sounded
How do you
like
mean?
Wii
I
Sports.
didn't play Wii Sports though.
Okay, so Wii Sports
like
is
the
just like
lobby
classic,
music?
like lobby jazz,
Oh,
and then
like, yeah,
also
yeah.
like a couple of songs. I don't remember. I can tell you exactly which one. 1 second. All Time was one of the songs, and that one reminded me of an artist called Blank Banshee. Have you heard of Blank Banshee?
No.
Blank Banshee's like kind of borderline. Well, he's a pioneer in essentially he was a pioneer in what is now vaporwave.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And he used in Blank Banshee 0, Blank Banshee 1, Blank Banshee 2, a lot of default like Windows sounds from like Windows XP, Windows ME, Windows
That's so
98, all
funny,
these
dude.
different things to like compose the music. Yeah, it was awesome. And what I didn't realize before hearing that album was that a lot of that stuff was based in jazz. Like a lot of the sound
Right.
effects that XP and all these different operating systems used was jazz, and then he just took that and like sampled it, threw it out there. All Time reminded me a lot of that production. It seemed super whimsical and like super jazzy and stuff. It was cool.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But so overall, you did like the music, but you're not a fan of the album, or you think you're not a fan of Nowhere?
I like the music. I think I can hear. I'm not gonna listen to it like casually, just
You're not
because
jamming it.
it's a little fast paced. Like I like super chill.
You're
chilled
so
out,
chill.
Like,
Yeah, you're much more into the like
yeah.
just I don't know.
Sounds and just slow stuff.
Yeah, you're
and,
you're
like,
down to sit in your chair and just have it playing in the background and relax.
Yeah. Nowhere's upbeat and cool and everything. I could see myself listening to a couple of songs. I like it a lot, but
You know, it's funny. I was listening to an interview they did, and I'll link in the description interview that I'm referencing. And the guy asked them how they got connected and like got going together.
yeah.
And they had a mutual friend or whatever, and Genevieve apparently sent Lewis some tracks that she had, and she was like, "Hey, can you like produce these a little bit, do some stuff, do your thing, I want to see what you'd do with it." And he said he just did something really soft, he just, I guess like she was a girl or something, so he's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do kind of something safe." And he sent it back to her, and she like emailed him. She's like, "What is this? What is this trash?" It's like, "I want you to go hard. I want
Go
Lewis
crazy.
Cole all the way, nonstop." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And so he just went
crazy.
crazy.
That's
with
what the
it.
album sounds like.
And this is their 4th album.
Yeah.
And so like I think that is just and I think
They
that's
don't hold
probably
back,
what,
dude.
yeah, they don't
They're-
hold back.
they're
It's super
pioneers.
authentic. I really feel like it is.
It is authentic.
And
yeah.
and so it's funny that you would say that you like more chill, and this is not chill. But even one thing they asked him, they were like, "How do you think of songs?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll just be talking about something, and I'll write down ideas. Like, I want something that makes me feel happy, but also like bees are stinging me."
It definitely has that.
That's
Right,
right.
yeah,
yeah.
They nailed it.
Yeah,
they
so
nailed
it's like
it.
it's just like certain. I don't know if that was in reference to everything he does, but just like those are the kind of concepts he thinks of, So, and again, I don't know.
Experimental, dude. It's
I don't know.
experimental.
Yeah, I don't know if it is experimental because every single song does follow that pattern. It does have like the crazy vocal harmonies and then the D&B breakdown. And so like I'm driving here and it's just like yeah, and it just like
sounds like Mario, fucking
Just-
Mario Party.
so,
Insanity.
see, it doesn't sound like that to me. To me, I'm just like, this is so hard, so good, and it's just like. But you're right. You are right. They do have that, just like that drop, unless it's like just a chill song. Even like I think the opening song "Nowhere Rules" is just like Noah rules. I'm
Noah
just-
rules,
just
dude.
saying
It's so
over
it's so
everyone,
sarcastic
Noah
though,
rules.
right?
No, yeah,
It's so
it
sarcastic.
is,
It's
but
like
then-
over the top. Just and
It sounds like they're
ridiculously
hitting
over the top.
every single key on the keyboard all at the same
But
time.
that's
at the
another thing
beginning.
I want to mention. Like with the mixing and mastering of this album, they did a
Right.
fantastic job because it's hard to mix all that stuff together without sounding like
trash.
Trash.
Yeah, straight,
So
like,
it sounded good. The
Right.
the quality of the audio is fantastic considering everything they put into it. They didn't over compress it, nothing like that. So it's cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's like, what do you think?
At times, even if they did hit all the keys,
yeah,
you know?
I'd say it's mixed well, but it's still too busy for my taste. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot going on,
Right.
and it almost stresses me out to listen
Really?
to it.
A bit, yeah. I get the same
And
vibes.
so
I think I'm so into like high information music that this is like,
you just want to overload the senses.
it's not even, that's me at my like, yeah, that's where I want to be riding.
That's the music you like of mine that I produce the most. It's
Right.
like if I just go crazy and just like throw it all into one bundle, then those are the
I mean,
songs that you
obviously.
like of mine the most.
It really is. Well, I mean, because like I listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of classical music, and like just a lot of, like I said, higher information music. So like you said, there are jazz chords that literally have 10 notes, you know, or let's say like 8, right? And so you are just like blah, 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 you know what I mean? And that was just a really interesting reference because
Yeah.
you're right. Because like most rock is going to be like 2 notes at the same time.
It's
you
like
know?
2,
and then
3.
octaves. You know what I mean? It's like the root, the fifth,
Hip hop,
third,
one chord.
one chord the whole time, you know, and there's nothing wrong with every one of those levels of music, you know what I mean? But for me, even when I'm playing guitar, I was tracking something the other day, and I realized I was not focusing on what I'm playing. Like I'm in time and everything, and I was just like, man, why am I not present, you know? And I realized I was like, oh, I just know this riff so well that I've just like, it's literally in the subconscious now, and so I have to do all kinds of things to like bring myself back to the forefront of.
Do you dream about music?
I have, yes. Yeah. It's not 100% regular, but I have had some really vivid dreams where there's like music happening and I'm just like, whoa, this is cool. And I'm not very good at remembering the music that was, but I just remember like all the music that
Whenever
was.
you perform live, I can tell you're like totally in dream zone.
You think?
Yeah.
Interesting.
At least you just like,
Yeah, I like closing my eyes because it activates my ears a lot more.
Yeah.
Personally. But anyway, so that's just a couple little things. Another thing about this that I found super interesting was, so when Lewis Cole started the band Nowhere with Genevieve, they had help from a guy. What was his name? His name is Jack Cantee, Cante, and it was real crazy because they're like talking about this guy. He's another musician and stuff. But then right at the end of like all the information about this guy, he's the CEO and co-founder of Patreon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, that's crazy. You know,
That
it's
is
It's
yeah,
an interesting
right, yeah, it's just-
crossover.
right, yeah, and apparently they're like homies. And like some of Nowhere's music
what is
was in-
Patreon exactly?
Do you know what Patreon is?
It's a money system.
Yeah, Patreon's a like
It's, let's say, an app, right, or a website,
A
whatever you want
website.
to call it.
Venmo or something.
it's
No,
a
no, no, no,
service
no.
for like up and coming or
It
for
can be
different
anybody.
Yeah, there's some like established I don't know, content creators, I would say is the best way to
They
describe
do
it.
donations.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
That's
like
what it is. Okay, yeah.
it's
so
it's a monthly donation.
It's like you're
Yeah.
subscribing
Yeah.
to this
um,
person to produce and send you stuff. Really.
Jordan Peterson
Right, he does a
uses
Patreon.
Patreon like crazy.
Patreon's it's pretty popular. A
It's
lot of
very,
people use it.
it's
Yeah.
very. I've only heard of a couple big time YouTubers and stuff that I follow that don't like it, but
Just
in
like
general,
support
a lot
us
of
via
people.
Patreon.
Right, and you get certain things, shout outs, exclusive content.
Yeah.
You know,
It has
monthly
like a
content.
tier
If
set
you
up.
asked
Right.
me
You can-
what music the CEO of Patreon would have made, I would have guessed that it would have been Nowhere.
You know what?
Which-
His music does not sound like Nowhere's.
But it just sounds so crazy.
His music sounds straight up folk punky.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you can
What
check
do
it.
you think made them involved in this project? What influences do you think he had on it as a whole?
So him and Lewis were friends, and apparently he was the dude who told him to start uploading stuff to YouTube. And he's like, "Yeah, just you guys start putting your stuff out there." And then he helped Genevieve and him. I don't know anything other than just encouragement. If there was any kind of financial backing,
Nowhere's living the dream.
in a certain sense.
Because they're just making whatever the fuck they want,
And you know
then
what
they're
else
just
though?
putting it out there.
They've toured UK, United States, Asia, as well as their music's in like one of the Grand Theft Autos.
Really?
Yeah, and as well as they've opened for Red Hot Chili Peppers on a tour in Europe with them. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you know you go see the Chili Peppers and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden Nowhere's
Nowhere's
up there.
there.
There
That's
was
awesome. So they
one
got a
song.
lot of-
What was it?
What a dream. That's awesome.
Hanging On, like that bass line reminded me a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They're like
Their
kind of
bass lines
intro
are so
bass line in
funky.
that one. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's very, very The Flea.
Yeah.
so-
No, I mean I think it's to me it's just they're really interesting because not only are they musicians, but then they like produce some pretty crazy YouTube videos. What's going on over there? You guys like making eye contact?
I don't know. He's thinking something, and it's interesting.
What are you thinking, dude?
What, do I seem weird or something?
Sorry,
You do.
sorry, everybody.
Okay, no,
It just
you're
all of a
kinda
sudden he's just
I'm
like
thinking
weird.
the Peppers. I'm like, that's a good. It's interesting that he thought that yes, this bass line and Hanging On reminded him of the Peppers, and then they're actually opening for the Peppers. It's like no, and whenever you just like the dots all connected for me,
Right.
I'm like, wow, actually that bass line is super funky and kind of peppery, but
But-
it's just interesting.
So that's just a few of the things that I've like discovered overall about them, and it's pretty crazy because they're just like on Facebook. You want to check them out? You know, they're just like normal
They're
people.
just
Instagram.
people.
You know, I checked out Genevieve's Instagram. I followed her and stuff, and it's just like she was like in the car with her mom going to go get some coffee in the morning. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like this is crazy. You know, but then they've also done stuff with Snarky Puppy.
Oh,
Are you
dude.
guys
Snarky
familiar
Puppy,
with?
yeah, dope.
Check out Snarky Puppy. Again,
That's
like,
cool.
They're like
Jazzy kind of.
not, dude. They're just like a
describe
mountain.
Snarky Puppy for us.
A mountain of sound that like engulfs you and like you drift out to sea. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds great, doesn't
That's-
it, Steven? That sounds pretty great. Right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, okay, all right. So that's what I have to say about it. What do you think, Steven? What's kind of like I know you overall didn't think it was your kind of thing. Any other kind of thoughts on it? Points?
I don't know. I think I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I don't think.
Okay.
It was I don't want to. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
you can
it
say
all
it's
kinda hits
bad,
you
it's
at once.
whatever.
I don't
It's
want
not
to
his
sit
favorite.
here
It's not
and,
his
and
favorite.
rag
I know-
on.
No,
yeah,
it's
of
not-
course,
it's not
of
your
course. That's
favorite,
not what we're
right?
trying to do.
That's-
They get some
that's
hate on
not
Twitter
fun.
though.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, they did this.
Everybody gets hate
I
on
know, I
Twitter
know.
though.
It's
That's
like-
what Twitter's
it's
for.
what Twitter's
Twitter's
for.
like, look what I made, and everyone goes, I hate it.
Yeah,
you suck.
I hate it.
Go die.
I am in my apartment alone, doing nothing, and everything you do is terrible.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, yeah. So everyone's an expert on everything they don't do.
I think, in my personal opinion, is they kind of just took it too far in whatever direction they were leaning in
Dang.
at any time. Just like, you know, like when a joke goes on too long and you're like, okay.
Do you think that they thought about the listener? You don't
I
think
don't
they-
think so. Probably
yeah.
not. They were just like, I like it. I'm making it. That's cool. Put it out. If people like it, then they like it.
I think that's
It's part of the appeal, though, right?
no. I think that's what
And I
every
get that
single
that's the appeal
artist does, though.
for some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody thinks of the listener really, especially today. In my opinion, most
I don't think that they should.
right, exactly.
You
but,
shouldn't.
Well, I don't know. You got to think about them a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but you shouldn't like be pandering to your audience.
you shouldn't
and
be
try
like
and
conforming
pander.
make
yourself.
what they want you to
right,
make.
right.
because
No,
then
you have to, because then it's not. What are
The
you doing?
opposite
If-
of pandering is
if you
not
like
good
someone
either.
for what they want to make, and then they try and make it to how you like it,
Right,
there
yeah,
it's
that's whack.
this like vicious cycle that's
yeah.
going to end up just being awful.
Right. How about you, Diego? Do you have any like overall kind of just like what you thought? Obviously, you said you started it 15 minutes in. You're like, I got to do this
The
later.
tension is
tense.
brutal, and it's also good though. It's like there's a lot of tension, and that's good. I mean, what are you listening to if you're not building tension in music, right? Or if you're not building some sort of emotion? They threw a lot of things at it. The D&B is great. There's a lot of choppiness, a lot of weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's choppy. I think only thing I can say is I was disappointed. It seemed like Steven said, kind of how they didn't think about the listener a little bit, and they just kind of made what they wanted to make and threw it out. I think they might have. That doesn't bother me so much as the fact that I think that they could have done better sound design for the synthesizers and stuff. I think they could have gone more modern and more like. I know it's supposed to be hard, but a lot of the synthesizers, they seemed rough and like they were they just threw them in there like, yeah, that sounds rough and good. But I would have preferred to hear more like thought out synthesis. But I'm a synthesis junkie, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, do it in this way. But it sounded good and they orchestrated it perfectly. It all went together in a great way. So I'm not too upset about that. That's kind of their style, right?
I'd say so, yeah.
So that's just a stylistic choice. Otherwise, I think they nailed it, man. I think it seems ironic and like sarcastic, but also like musically extremely advanced.
Yeah.
Word up.
All right.
That's cool. Any particular songs you really cared about or didn't care about?
Hanging On was good. I think her vocals are really good, man. She knows how to hit those harmonies. I think this sounded like almost like dystopian Christmas music, is what I said.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I
Dystopian
can
Christmas
kind of see
music.
that.
It's like, dude, this is like what Christmas would sound like in hell.
It's like light and twinkly, but at the same time, like
Dark
like
and super,
hard and
super
yeah.
heavy beats.
Yeah, I
But do you
felt
think
like that.
Christmas music in the sense that it's like she has like the most beautiful voice ever, kind of?
Does. It's like so happy,
It's-
but so
it's almost
sad
angelic
and
kind of
angry.
Yeah,
voice,
it's
and
just
then
so beautiful.
It's like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah, which I hate to use that word because that's what all people who
hipsters
are
use.
all people who listen to anything and review anything or say anything about
so
anything art
juxtaposed.
related. It's like juxtaposition. But yeah, it is. It is. It reminded me of Diane Ward a lot.
you know, I thought that also. To be
I can
honest,
see that.
I like
just
Diane Ward
because-
better, but I think they're
Diane-
more conscious in creating something that they want to be in a different.
I think
more
they just don't know as much about harmony.
They're not going as crazy.
They just don't know as much.
Oh, no, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying that like Liz Cole and Genevieve have like really studied harmony and music. They have better ears.
But I like Diane Ward better.
No. I know you do. I'm just saying.
But yeah,
that's
it's
why
not
it's
as much
crazy.
information.
Diane
Right.
towards
You're
more
right,
of
yeah.
like attacking you with music.
Tagging you with music.
Yeah, they're
having
gangsters.
fun.
They're rappers.
Yeah, they're
you know,
rappers,
it's
yeah.
rap music. You know, when you
It's
listen
good,
to Diane
yeah.
Ward.
It's simple. It's straightforward. It's good. It's
And
like
the-
you know
with,
exactly
like,
what you're getting
EDM
with this. I
beats.
was just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Love
it's a
it.
lot more shock factor. I think, even though
Oh yeah.
Knower is shocking, it's not shock factor.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You know.
Yeah.
But Diane Ward's definitely shock factor, which I was all about them. Tension, I love that album. That's like my childhood. I loved that album when I was younger.
It's good.
It was like, after Tension, I wasn't so about it. I saw them live, Diane Ward. I've never seen Knower live. I really want to.
You saw Diane Ward live? How was that?
Awesome. It was at a festival, so it wasn't like,
Awesome.
it was funny because there were some like festival girls right in front of me, and I'm just like going hard, you know, especially.
Are you
when,
talking
like,
about like festival, like all neon, like fur boot looking things with the
Not
with the,
quite
with
as
the,
hard as,
the
like-
ankle warmers or whatever you
Yeah,
call
yeah,
them.
yeah,
with the
pretty
boots
much.
and
You know, just
the
like-
nets,
just
and
like
the hair color.
kind of hipster girls that probably didn't listen to Diane Ward,
Oh, okay.
but they're the ones in front of me. I mean,
Festival
obviously they were
girls.
listening to Diane
Trying to
Ward.
get an
so
image.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
But-
know what you're talking about now.
But
don't
I was
think
just,
on.
especially when Fuck Ananias came on, I was just like, yeah. And I'm like screaming all the words, you know?
Yeah, what's the name there? Where was this?
Yeah, she was. It was at a fun. No. It was at Free Press Houston, Free Press Summerfest, or whatever it's called. Back in the day,
That's
back before
cool.
I got shut down.
Got shut down.
Yeah, that guy got me too'd hard.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, which that's
I
fair
mean,
because
it's-
he was
yeah.
guilty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
so
that's
like
good then.
that
Then
festival
good.
got shut down. I think somebody bought it
Press, yeah.
out and changed it. He was doing something else.
I remember that kind of used to be a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was like
people used to
Houston's
talk about that
festival,
more,
but
yeah. I
then
haven't heard about that in
Day for
like
Night
5
Fest
years.
kind of came up. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that
And
makes
now-
sense. Me
but
too.
I don't know what we got really right now. This is getting a little off topic.
yeah.
That's okay.
That's good. That's good. Diane Ward, awesome. I would like to see Knower live. I don't know how many people they'd have to have on the stage to make that sound happen. Dude, that bass line. Dude, the bass is so good.
Yeah.
I wish he'd play. It was like almost a borderline like Les Claypool, man. If you told me Les Claypool played on that album, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
And I don't think he did he?
No.
Okay, yeah, then I'd believe you if you lied to me though. That was it was good, just funky, man. Seems
crazy.
sped up. Seems
Seems
sped up.
like they.
No,
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's just, dude, I'm so chill oriented music.
Right.
That it's just like,
you're
dude,
just
it
like,
seems
this
like-
is, they must have,
I'm
yeah,
just
right.
like, holy shit.
Yeah,
But
no.
it was good. Yeah, I like it.
What do you think lyrically, Steven?
Well, there's not. A lot of these don't have. This isn't lyrically focused.
No, it's
you
not.
sure?
It's sound.
I would say that it's not.
Hmm.
The songs that have lyrics are pretty repetitive,
Yes.
and I mean there are some songs. I didn't like write down the
Yeah,
lyrics
no, it's
for
okay.
this one because I didn't think it was as important
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this album, but I feel like the ones that had lyrics, they were more filler. and
Really?
just-
I feel like the
Filler.
lyrics are so important.
You feel like the lyrics are important?
Yeah.
Wow, this is very backwards. Are you
Yeah,
me? Am I you?
No, I feel like the moderator here.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Just because like thinking about like, okay, so when this album came out, like that was like kind of near the time of like that whole Pizzagate thing, right? And when people were just about doing all the pizza stuff, so like I do it for the pizza, right? It is repetitive, and they're just driving the point of like, oh yeah, let's just talk about this ridiculous concept, right? And I don't do this for the money, you know, because as musicians, that's what everybody says. Oh, you don't do it for the money? Of course not, you know. But obviously, you got to make some money.
I do it for the fans.
Right, yeah, right. No, for the pizza, right? You know, or even like when she was talking about, what's that one song? I have to look it up again. The song, I forgot the song name, but when she's just talking about like everything's gonna be okay as long as she goes crazy. You know?
That's Lose My Mind.
Yeah, lose my mind. You know, and it's just like that seems like the concept that a lot of people struggle with. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this whole place is crazy. Everything's gonna be okay as long as I'm crazy. You know,
Yeah.
And even like butts and tits and money because I'm so ugly. You know what I mean? Because like they are like just creating this super progressive music, and
It is progressive.
yeah, and it's just, but that's not the thing that people are like, oh, you got to do this kind of thing, you know. And you know, and that's not new. Even when my mom was a musician, or it was her and her sister, and like people told them that like, oh, you got to dress a little more like revealing, right? Because they dress pretty modestly, and they performed and sang and played guitar and stuff. And my mom would just be like, hey, I'm a singer, I'm not a stripper, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that, you know. And it's,
Yeah.
that's that, you know what I mean? So I don't know. So overall, I think like, I don't know.
Lyrically,
I think it's good. Obviously, there are
lyrics are
certain
super
when like
important. No?
I feel like it's important to like distinguish what they are like creating their satire based on. You know, the view.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good point.
It kind of sets a point that they're trying to make, that they're satirizing.
Right? Yeah, I don't know the
But
word. I
Like
think-
it doesn't expand on that really. Kind of just.
I think it's
sits-
totally there because okay, so like just to talk about like the other albums we did, like Stella Donnelly pretty much just tells you what she's
Straight
thinking.
up, dude.
Just
Yeah.
tells you what she's thinking. Nowhere is going to be like, okay, I'm going to present a concept to you and pretty much give you the bare bones of it, overload your mind with all this like musical information, and then see what you think about it. You know what I mean? Opposed to just be like, this is what it is, here it is, take it. You know, and so I think it really makes you think a lot more.
It's different, but it's the same.
I wouldn't say it's the same, but it's, you know, does that make? You see what I'm saying?
It's
though?
similar concept.
I think it's not the similar concept because, like, whereas Stella Donnelly's case is just telling you something matter of fact, where
Yeah,
where they are like
in-
trying to make you think through it.
Yeah, and Stella Donnelly's like, this is what I think, and
Right.
in this one,
Donnelly
it's
and-
like, here's what you should think.
Right.
Or like, you should think about this.
Yeah, think about this. Tell me what you think.
It's
right.
like Nora and Stella Donnelly had the same goal, though. Overall, they just
I
went
don't think
different
so.
ways, completely
I
went
no,
different
I
ways
don't think
about
so.
it,
You
see
but
what
not
I'm-
the
you see
same
what I'm
goal.
talking
And
about?
I mean that they want
Yeah.
to communicate information.
I mean, but that's the whole point of doing any of this. Why does anybody
Right.
write
Yeah,
anything? Is
yeah.
they want to have their view out there. They want to show people like a different side of something.
Yeah, we're agreeing.
Yeah, we are, but
I don't think we're agreeing, to be honest,
I think we are.
because I don't think Stella Donnelly did the same thing at all.
She didn't do it the same way, but I think that they want to communicate information.
No, I think
Well,
they
that's-
wanna-
that
no,
is
I
the
think
most
Stella
bare
Donnelly
bones
wants
way
to tell you
to-
what to think versus no.
Yeah, maybe I'm just going too bare bones. You're right.
they
You're
did
right.
it because they wanted to speak words.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Yeah,
Like,
of course they wanted to speak.
Obama
words.
and Trump are saying the same thing. They're both communicating information.
They both
It's the same
speak
thing.
English.
It's all information at the end of
Yeah.
the day. What are we talking about? Nah, yeah, you're right. I'm just thinking of it in a weird way. But
But
You're just trying to
see,
be nice to everybody.
am
you know,
I?
Stella Donnelly was like, here's my opinion, and this
Right.
one is make your opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there we go. That's a
Yeah,
good way
there
to
you
say
go.
it. Okay,
Yes.
cool. But they both, you use the word opinion twice.
They're both
You
opinions.
see what I
They're
mean?
both
It's
words.
both
They're both
opinions,
bands.
yeah.
They're both human beings.
You are infuriating
It's both
sometimes.
music.
You know this?
Stephen, you are incorrigible.
I'm incorrigible.
You're incorrigible,
Okay.
Stephen. You know you are. You're
God.
incorrigible.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, it's
Man.
okay.
No, I think I agree with both of you guys. This is a
Well, that's
great
cool.
album. I enjoyed it.
Have
It's
you-
so
okay,
fun.
so
It's just
like-
like I don't know how you dance to it, but if you did, it'd
Dude,
be
you know how to
something
dance
happen.
this? You literally move your body.
You just go crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like that guy off of Avatar. Oh, you guys, I don't know. You guys wouldn't know.
Avatar, the movie?
No, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I would know what
the
you're talking
television
about. I've seen
series.
Avatar.
You know that guy who like dances? It's like a 1 second clip. Link in the description to that clip. It's great. It's fucking great. That's how you're supposed to dance to this.
I don't know the 1 second clip of the 3 season
I
long
wouldn't
show.
even know how to describe it.
seasons
Yeah.
long. I don't
How many
watch
times have
Avatar.
you seen it, Steven? Are you really a fan,
I've seen
Steven?
through it like twice.
I've seen it like
Wow.
3 or 4 times.
Oh, okay, fine.
Maybe 3 times.
One up
at
me, go
least,
for
At
it.
least one more time than you have.
Okay, all right.
Enough to remember.
Wait,
Okay.
wait,
thing that I'm thinking of.
Hold on. Okay, so did you guys listen to the album and then like read about it and stuff like that, or did you read about it as you were listening?
I straight up just listened to it.
I listened to it once through, and then I kind of
Kinda
read about
researched
it as I listened to it the second time.
Okay. Cool,
I listened to 15 minutes of it as just a civilian,
Mm-hmm.
and then I came back and then listened to it all the way through, 45 minutes straight up, or like 46 minutes is what it is, maybe 47, and then I wrote notes down as I listened to it, kinda
That's cool.
thinking about it
Yeah.
more and more. But I'd never like stopped and replayed or anything like that. How'd you listen to it, Chris?
Just, I mean, I've listened to it 1.5 times today.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You love it.
Yeah, it's,
You're a
it's a
big
jam,
fan.
dude.
It is a jam.
Check
It
out
is
my
a
Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm just jamming it on there. Because I don't know, it's just kind of my cup of tea. Obviously, there's certain things that no, it's just what I like to listen to. It's like I said, it's just high information music really just gets me going. But I think it just comes from me. All I think about is music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see your. Okay, so just knowing you,
Mm-hmm.
like I do, I can see your mind going at that speed
Oh, nice.
while you're listening to it. That seems like something that fits right in with you. At level, like that's
Yeah, it's
kind of
like-
how you
just kinda like
operate.
normally.
Yeah, just like that's your normal like.
Like my engine's warmed up, it's
Yeah,
going,
you're just revving.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, and then I can also see my mind how I would listen to something more chill, and you can probably see how my mind would level out more,
Mm-hmm. Right,
with
right.
just super
chill, right, yeah.
like droning in a way.
Right.
So that makes sense. I'm glad, dude. Yeah, this is good music. I'm glad they're making it because not a lot of musicians and bands are giving themselves the freedom to explore that
Right.
much. And I think that the authenticity and all that is what's more appealing to me, honestly, than even the music itself.
Right.
Is that they gave themselves the freedom to create this. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think they said it took them like 3 years to make this album.
Really?
I mean, yeah, that's all. It's a lot of production, man.
It's a lot,
There's
yeah.
a lot of
but
sounds.
not
going
only
on.
that, I also really like the band Nowhere just because both of them have solo projects. So
Okay.
just like Genevieve.
Art Toddy, Art Toddy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Lewis.
You know, Lewis Cole, right? And then on top of that, they all do. I mean, both of them do Nowhere, as well as other kind of projects with other people.
Yeah.
Do you know whether some of their they have notable projects that like we would recognize the name of, like, oh yeah, he did this thing with James Blake, or oh yeah, this thing with Kendrick
The
Lamar.
only person I think that like kind of stuck out to me was Quincy Jones.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
cool.
kind of
Quincy
did some
Jones,
stuff
yeah.
with them.
You know that? Just side note,
Mm-hmm.
Quincy Jones. Have you guys seen Parks and Rec
No.
Yeah.
or The Office?
I've seen them both.
Rashida Jones, you know her?
Uh-huh.
That's Quincy Jones' daughter, dude.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
I think I've heard that before. That makes sense, yeah.
I don't know anything about what you just said.
Rashida Jones, dude.
She's an
Link
actress.
in the description.
Link to her
We're gonna have to
Facebook.
go back through this and like
Yeah, make sure
link
we hit all
everything.
these
We'll be
links.
like, what are they talking about? No one's gonna click.
But
it.
yeah, overall, I think like just listening to this, it really gave me a bigger appreciation for them as artists because they're doing so many different things, not only with videos and YouTube, And they also are supposedly like the masterminds between this group called Clowncore, which is just this weird like progressive grindcore and like synth band that just does these weird videos, and they have these masks, you know. But
Are they
the
dressed
drum,
like clowns?
they have these weird clown masks on and jumpsuits.
Is
you
it
know
like
what I mean?
a
Like they're about to rob a
Juggalo
bank.
type of
They're
thing?
like, yeah, like Insane Clown Posse.
Not
No,
a Juggalo type
not
of thing,
Juggalo,
but
no. More
not
like
the Gathering
more
of the
like
Juggalos.
on,
more
you know,
like
the beginning of
Dark
Batman
Knight
when they're
too.
robbing the
The
bank
Dark
and they
Knight.
have like clown masks and jumpsuits. That's what they look like.
Batman 2.
Yeah, Batman 2. What is it?
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
yeah.
Is it? What was the first one?
Give us a Michael Caine.
Batman Begins.
Give us your best Michael Caine.
I'm not gonna do Michael
Do it.
Caine on here. No.
I can hear your cries in the hallways. What is it? Come on. Do Michael
Your
Caine.
cries is to echo through these hallways.
It's not Michael.
No, but everyone thinks they can do
They're
a
gonna
Michael
bleep that
Caine
one
Yeah,
out.
I can't do Michael Caine at all.
It's- yeah.
Straight.
Okay, well, anyway, but I guess that's about it for me. I'm gonna give this one like I love it
All
as
right.
far as an album goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a. What, Steven? You want to go next?
You can go next.
I'll go next.
I mean, if we want to end on a low note, I can go last.
no,
Yeah, let's end on
you
that
go.
note.
You go.
I want to
You go
end
next,
on that.
Steven.
So, listening
Overall.
to it, I'm not a fan of this.
Okay.
Album. Like, I'm really not.
No, it's
but
cool.
after talking about this, I do appreciate it a little more. I
Right.
respect it a little more, but I'm still
You're
not.
still not
gonna
gonna
listen
jam
to
this.
it. Yeah,
No.
I understand why they did it, but
Well, they love it. That's why they did
yeah,
it.
they can do that. But I'm gonna listen to something else.
There's definitely a lot of love in this album. I can see how it took them 3 years, and I'm glad that it took them 3 years as opposed to just 3 months to
Right,
do
yeah.
this, because it shows that they put in a lot more care than what would initially be noticeable to like the layman. If you just like plug it in and listen, it's like, oh, these people just really just went crazy on some stuff. I think it's a good piece of music. It's a little intense for me, but I can definitely see a mood where I'm gonna go back and listen to Hanging On at least one more time.
Yeah. And you might check out the other songs. I mean, they got
Yeah,
other-
yeah.
like
I want to
said, they
check
have
out
4
their solo
albums.
projects. I think that their solo. Do we have their solo projects at all? Do you know?
Yeah,
we'll
they're out
link
there.
them in the description or something.
Yeah.
Solo projects. I'll definitely be checking those out. They sparked my interest for sure because they're definitely talented musicians and producers. So I
Yeah.
think it's cool that they're doing their thing, man, and like just having fun with it. It's not so serious like a lot of other things, especially like government masturbate, all that stuff.
Yeah, because it's like a real concept, but then you're just like,
It
oh
is,
yeah.
it's
if I
funny.
was if I was just going through people's webcams, what am I gonna see the
Yeah,
most of?
exactly. Yeah,
Right,
It's
yeah.
like I think that song says it all, man. Like it's serious and it's like a issue and
Like
it's like some
dark,
sort
but
of
also,
problem,
like-
dark problem, but it's also
Oh
funny
yeah, we're
and
just
like whimsical.
ridiculous
Yeah,
human beings.
Yeah.
Ridiculous people.
What's going on? Yeah, so I liked it.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Well, I guess
All right.
that's good, man.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody again for listening to Third Floor Music Tour. It's another episode. We'll be seeing you. Stay tuned.
Stay
Alright.
tuned. See you guys later. Third
See you
Floor
later.
Music Tour.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.